times because why not? Okay. All right, we're rolling. People, the way we're going to do this is, and by the way, I think most of the people on the call are probably familiar enough with the ZaZar to know that sometimes he opens Marylin's eyes and looks at you through her eyes. And so, some channels only close their eyes, some channels only open their eyes. Y'all do both. And so don't be freaked out if ZaZar starts piercing your soul with Marylin's eyeballs.
Very true.
And the way we're going to do it is Katie is in charge of the Zoom call, and she's going to select people. What we want you to do is there's down at the bottom, is it React? Yeah, there's a React where you can raise your, is that where it is, Katie? No, that's not it. Is that it? Where you can raise your hand?
Should be under reactions. Hold on. Oh. Did they move it?
Well, I don't see raise hand is it's the big one. It's the button on the bottom. So click on React, and right at the bottom of that square, it says raise hand. For instance, I'll raise my hand right now. Do you see my hand raised in the upper left? Yep. And then in the same spot, there's a lower hand button. So you'll raise your hand. She'll call on you. Well, I'll bring you on. When she calls on you, she'll ask you to say something, and that'll allow you to show up on my screen so I can find you and bring you on with ZaZar. And then afterwards, I'll remove you, and the next person can do it. And just be sure to lower your hand so Katie doesn't try to haul you up here twice. Okay. You ready to do this, Marylin?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Can we get does anyone have any questions? I'm going to get myself off of this screen.
Okay, we'll start with Cindy.
Cindy, will you say something so I can see you? Oh, I see you right there.
It's hi.
Hi, let me put
you.
Whoops, let me put you on here.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Let me
hi,
let me bring you up on camera.
Hi, again.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi. So good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. I feel a familiar vibration of communicating with you.
I knew I was going to be here. I felt your vibration before I even got here earlier in the afternoon because I was all joyful and everything.
Well, I am so glad you picked up the vibration because the world needs more humans to feel that joyful. But you are joyful, just you.
Oh, thanks. I just, I was wondering. I'm reading your book too, but I'm wondering, how do you actually know, like, when you've hit that fifth dimension ascension energy? How do you know when you're there?
How do you know when you are there?
Yeah.
I will tell you. The usual emotions that motivate you in what I call your 3D world drop away. The heaviness, it's a lighter feeling in your heart. You feel totally safe. You have more access to joy, unity, beauty. You begin to feel this warm, magnificent light in yourself and a great desire to connect with others with this light. You feel love like you've never felt, and you don't have any fear whatsoever. And so this vibration, it is like vibrations, maybe when you go out in nature and see the most beautiful sunset, and you are in vibratory awe, and yet in the figure 8 with the sun of kind of wanting to bow in sacredness to it, or when you just begin to feel love. It could be for an animal that feels undaunted, that is not having anything on it that is conditions, And it is the most beautiful love. Humans feel this 5D in many different situations. You can feel it when you are in the ecstasy of hearing the most beautiful music. You can feel it when you are walking in a museum and you all of a sudden see a piece of art, and you can feel the vibration of the artist who is in the fifth dimension while they were painting, and you feel ecstasy and you feel a connection. You can feel it when you might meet someone new and there is just some sublime connection that you feel like it is totally safe and undaunted by the human drama emotions. This is what it begins to feel like. Or when you look up at the sky and you know that you are one and part of the holy whole of the cosmos, and you vibrate that through every cell in your body. That is a fifth dimensional experience.
That makes so much sense to me. I was coming home from walking to the stores the other day, and I paused before going into my building, and I just wanted to get a recording of the birds singing. So I sat on the front bench and I just sat there staring at the sky and recording the sound of the birds. And then I posted it on Facebook because I wanted everybody else to hear it.
That is a fifth dimensional experience, Cindy. Now, let me tell you what you did that you probably didn't even know. The birds that are singing, when they were singing to you, this is hard for humans to believe, but nature is in a higher place. They were singing songs to you, and you knew it on some level. You said, I have to record and share this. And they were singing this aligning tune. The sound frequencies were aligning you to your higher self, and it was your higher self. And so then you shared this symphony of aligning tunes from the tones of the birds' song. And I tell you something, when you walk in nature, they know what you need and will sing accordingly. And you won't even hear all the notes that they are singing to you. But Cindy, it tells me so much about you that you wanted to record this and share it with the world. You are an example of the new human.
Thank you so much. I was just in awe, and I had to stop and record the experience. And then I posted on Facebook, I want to share the experience so you can experience what I experienced.
That is absolutely magnificent. And you answered their call. And I can't tell you how happy they are that a human realized the call of the sacred that was being sung. You were part of the unity experience with the birds. And the birds, I'm telling you, they are really in the high vibration right now on Earth.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much.
Well, Cindy, I love you right back. And you know what? We are dancing the waltz of the figure eight of love.
That's so true.
I hope to see you again, dear one.
I hope so too.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Next person. Do we have someone in the queue?
Yes, next we will have Peter.
All right. Hi, Peter.
Peter, oh,
there you are. Say something so we can hear you. Nope, you're on mute.
Would definitely help.
There you go.
Access my microphone. All right, thank you. Hi, ZaZar.
Oh, my dearest Peter, the wizard. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
How lucky am I to be with you tonight?
The feeling is mutual. So, the only constant in this realm is change. And to access the gifts of the fifth dimension, we have to be fiercely present, and therefore shedding the past, which was not even a second ago, and not even anticipating the future, not even a second from now. So how the human mind has a problem with permanence and change and grasping things. How do we stay in the now, be in the flow, and actually have choice to create the lives that we want?
I love this question. This is by a wizard. So let me tell you, Peter, this is one of the most important questions for the human race. Because of dualism, there is past or future in the human mind. Really, you are never anywhere but now. But you have gathered records of the past, photographs of the past, seen and tell stories about the past. So it's a real thing for you. And most of the time you bypass the now to worry about the future. But the now, to realize the now is always where you are, even in the now, even if in the now you are spending time in the past or the future. Both those places have very little life force energy. They have very little life force. The only place that life force exists is in the now. And to practice being in the now, you have to begin to fold over the past and future, and also let go of what the identities are that you were given from the past. This is very hard for humans. What you do for a profession, who you're married to, your children, all of these identifiers, to be able to say, I am so much more than that. And it can, the more of that can only be found in the now. If you are going to be an explorer of higher consciousness and higher vibrational living, you have to learn how to be in the now. And in the now, at first, will not have those identifiers. So the next thing you have to learn to do is be in the unknown. And you are right. People want to hang on to no change. Well, they are changing all the time anyway. And so you have to be willing to be in the now with no prescriptors of what it is before you're going to be able to realize all vibrational conscious experience only lives right now. And so you have been duped in a way by the old paradigm into distracting your attention to the places that have the least power for your magnificence to show up. So first of all, you have to say, no, I am not. I co-create what is going to happen in every minute. So the future doesn't matter because I co-create it now. And the past only holds me back and puts veils over my magic to create in the now. The now is the only place I live. The now is the only place I will always live. And listen, you want motivation to be in the now? The now energetics, everything is present in the now, all healing. When you learn that you are a now being, full of vibrational frequencies that only show up in the now, full of divine source life force, then you will become a co-creator. And in that co-creation, you begin to get in the truth of your infiniteness. And in the now, your consciousness never dies. Energy never dies. It may change, but it never dies. And so as you are in the now, you begin to walk in the world of higher vibration, of this place that is infinite and always. And it is hard for humans to wrap their head because you have been told you die. You have been told your life is short. It doesn't have to be. Humans will learn to live a lot longer as you are in the now. The only place I am is right here, right now, which is why I can see you so well, because I am not dripping with all the rest of your identity of past or what you're going to do tomorrow. So I can see you perfectly. And Peter, of course, I see your beautiful magnificence. As you walk with that, you will learn you are absolutely infinite. That energy of learning you are infinite in the now will be the healing energy that will heal your disease, that will cause you to live long, long, long lives. And that once you're into the energy that is forever, then you utilize that for the material world, for instance, of your body. And your body begins to feel the lightness of being that only can be felt in the now. And so every day, it's like setting an alarm every hour to ding, which reminds you to come back in the now. But you know, humans, I'm telling you, it's a little kooky on Earth with all the devices. Everybody is not in the now when they are looking at their phones and on their computers and everything else. It is hard for people to learn to meditate because meditation only takes place now. And so you have to stop your thinking, let the mind be totally still, which is quite a feat for many humans, and let the heart begin to be felt in its higher vibrations, not the lower emotions of the human, and let the body be calm. And in that calmness and in the high heart and in the stillness of a mind, you will find yourself in the now.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, up next is Snowflake.
Hi there, ZaZar. I'm so happy that I have this opportunity. And I guess I feel safe with the group. I don't usually address heavy questions, but I have a 54-year-old son that I'm dealing with, and I do need to help him. And I know you will be help. For the past 30 years, I've had 3 friends, women friends, who have all had the diagnosis of a multiple MPD, and I know they since have changed it. But because my son was involved with his own little boy, somehow he got tangled up in the legal system. And I really feel that he's a multiple, but I'm in the process of trying to work with the courts to explain he doesn't have a real multiple. He's channeling. Because when I first started channeling, it would happen at work. I'd talk to somebody and my voice would change and I'd give like a medical answer. And they'd say, "How did you know?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't even know my voice had changed. I didn't, it was the learning process." But because I had 3 friends with those diagnoses, and I also had a handful of gurus that helped me work with my personal friends, and it gave me the confidence that I didn't have to be scared of them, because one of the women had a propensity to being angry and we didn't know. ZaZar, how can I help my son Mark through this ordeal?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Snowflake, be very careful that you think where you're going to help him is in the 3D murk. Because of who you are and because of the energy you have to realize, and this is hard for mamas to realize, but you have to realize you have the ability to bring in so much light. You have the channels open to bring in so much light. And so you have to believe, and this is going to test your belief. Humans feel like where they can help is in the 3D realm. They often say, well, I should be going out there doing lots of service, feeding the poor and all that. Of course, that is all important. However, there have to be those that realize as they increase their light frequency, they are actually becoming conduits to bring that light to those who don't have it. It has to be human to human. Snowflake, you can bring in this diamond light, let it vibrationally penetrate your whole being, and then consciously send this light to surround your son. The power of your light to help your son is bigger than I think if you go to the court to tell them something, and they might even think you're a little loony because you're going to talk about, and they might not understand because of who you are. You've had experiences that a lot of people won't understand. I feel protective of you. And so I want to say the best, you have to have total faith, Snowflake, that you do bring in this light, and it is so powerful that it can dissolve the darkness that surrounds your son and makes him confused, to bring clarity to who he is and the gifts he has that have gotten distorted by human living. And so you have to believe so much this new light coming in. You are a holder of the light and you are a disperser of the light. And in fact, I say to Marylin sometimes, if the only thing you do is sit on your cushion and become a light conduit, sending it out to thousands, you have no idea how huge that is. But humans want to get involved in all the 3D. To change the 3D world from within the 3D world is not going to work in so many cases. Why? Because the solutions to what ails the earth, what ails individuals, is coming from the higher realms, the new solutions, the new healing modalities. It's all coming in. So Sheila, you have to believe you are a conduit. You have to believe the light you have is very powerful. You have to believe, because you have ties biologically to your son, that you have a special conduit open, a special channel open to him, and you spend time bringing the light to him. Now, what he does with that light is free will, and you have to let him accept it, not accept it. He may not even know he's accepting it, but when he is ready, it will turn the dial up and bring clarity and also disperse some of his darkness. I am just saying to you, I feel like you are in a perfect position to help your son, but not as much in the 3D world because it's murky in there. You want to equip him to have nutrition from the higher realms, and you are perfectly capable of offering him that.
ZaZar, I can't even with words describe the feeling in my heart that ZaZar is so right. I just have to get strong and believe in myself. Sometimes I doubt myself because as a human, I want to, I want to see what's the answer on paper, like, and
but
then.
You know what, Sheila? You are somebody who doesn't need the paper. You are the paper. You are the answer. And many humans doubt this right now. In moments you think, yes, I am all this. And in the next moment you see everything going on and you go, how can I help? I am helpless. That's the old paradigm, trying to make you feel so helpless. And when you do that, you put a veil over this beautiful light that you are channeling. So you have to believe with everything you have that you can bring in this light, Snowflake. And you have a special channel to him. You are all this. And that light that goes to him will help him, if he chooses, to be more of the light himself. And it will direct him for his particular solution, which might not be yours. But what you are is a conduit of this amazing light. And if I can help you feel that tonight, Sheila, it is so important for you to reinvigorate this truth about you.
Thank you, ZaZar. You really did help immensely. And I have to thank everyone for being part of it, because I've always, when I do group work like this, it always helps me immensely because we are one. And so I have to just guide myself to remember that.
That's right. And what you asked the question, no doubt will touch someone else by your very sharing. And so know this is all true. Every one of you holds a piece to the holy whole.
Yes. I love you all. Thank you.
I love you, Snowflake.
I love you too.
Thank you, Snowflake.
Thank you.
Sabine, am I saying that correctly? Yes?
Yes, that's correct. And my other name is Zailana, that ZaZar knows. Hi.
Hi, Lana. It's so good to see you. Who knew I could see you tonight?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you. I just had to hop on just to say hi and just to be with you for a moment.
I love being with you.
And I love the color choice that Marylin made with the green. I was like, oh, I love it.
But there you are in green too. I think everybody here chose green. It is the rich fertility now.
Yes, yes, very much so. And, my connection with nature. That kind of is part of my question. So you mentioned that many of us will have a remembrance of when we were little, being either on a ship or interacting with ETs or other beings. So my question is, how do we spark that remembrance? Because I used to be very connected with nature. I would just take my bike and go into nature, spend a lot of time in nature. So I know I have like a remembrance of very much being in the flow, being connected with the animals, being connected with nature, but I don't remember any connections with beings, other beings. So if there are any, how can I spark the remembrance?
So you first of all, you say, and I know with you, Sabine, you absolutely had contact with beings that weren't of Earth. You absolutely. Now, what I told Marylin is those memories go in recess, not repress, but recess until it is time. So you say to yourself, it is time to know, and you use your imagination to say, well, when I went into the forest or I went into nature, what were the kind of vibrations I felt? Why was I so drawn there? You may have been drawn there because there were beings that you indeed felt their presence. It may not be that you saw them, but you felt their presence. What did it feel like in nature? Go in nature again and try to reenact that feeling as a child that propelled you into nature, or any kind of imaginations as a child of what books you read that had weird creatures in the books, and something felt like simpatico with these, in many children's book there's all kinds of different other than human beings in the books. I love this. Humans don't realize they're writing all these children's stories of non-humans. It's great. But to just say to yourself, in my experience, I have had star connections, and probably it happened. It could have happened too when you were a very young toddler, and that those memories aren't going to be retrieved per se because your brain wasn't developed. It's how humans are. However, you can begin to feel the vibration of that connection with the stars. And so you just begin to suggest to yourself, it is highly likely I had some kind of star vibrational experience. And again, it could be that you saw mysterious designs in the forest. It could be that you thought you were seeing a squirrel, but it could have been an ET animal that visited you. I mean, all of these things happen to so many children because children are so open. It'd be like this, Sabine. If Marylin went into a classroom of adults and a classroom of children and said to all of them, here are 10 ET species, which ones feel familiar? The adults would go, well, none of them. They look weird. And you can bet a bunch of 5-year-olds in a classroom would go, that one I know, because they haven't had the veils put over. So then you grew up and veils were put over you. Find, if you go to this, what is this artist, Vashta Narada, go to her site, see all the different beautiful ET beings, see if something clutches you like, I know them, I know the blue beings. Why do you know the blue beings? It may be something that goes back when you were little. But Sabine, you are having contact in your dreams now. You know this. Yes, or maybe not.
Not consciously. I kind of know it. And I know, I mean, I spend a lot of time with you, like that, like purposely, because I just enjoy you very much. But yeah, it's not conscious that I'm like, I wake up and like, oh, I spend time with this and that being.
So let me tell you this. When it is dream time and you are spending time with me, where do you think we are?
On your ship.
Of course, there you
And
go.
I do have a question about your ship. I know I was there with you, and then I snapped kind of out of my dream, and my brain tried to make sense of it, and it put me at a huge lake, like a huge lake, and it's like a circle, like a round, and it was just so spacious. It felt so spacious, like huge and natural. I guess my brain tried to make sense of what it experienced. I don't know.
So when you have these experiences, you will use what is most familiar vibration. You said a lake.
Yeah, that's where I usually walk. There's this huge lake I usually walk, and suddenly I was there. Yeah.
So see, listen, you connect the dots through vibrational experiences. So when you were walking on the lake, that gave you a certain vibrational experience that was, my guess is very expansive. So when you got on the ship, you're trying to find a similar signature vibration. And so a human experience like the lake comes into your mind, and you can use that as a jumping off point. But what's important is you were feeling the vibrational signature. Now, as you get away from it being a lake, I'm going to tell you, we don't have a big lake on the ship.
Yeah, I figured.
But that feeling of expansiveness, I tell you, that is a very beautiful, the fact that you could feel that, because any ideas you have about being on craft, when you come on this craft, it is a feeling of tremendous expansiveness, and it's hard to comprehend that this can be a craft. Part of it is the vibrational field of expansiveness that all the beings on the craft share, that vibrational field. But you were feeling that and then trying in your brain to figure out what that was. Now you can say, okay, let me step into more of the unknown of this vibrational expansive field. It's like the lake, but you might be able to feel more and more specifics of what that is. Remember, when you go on a craft, there is nothing there that your brain has a data point for. That's why I say to people, this isn't about suggestion, this isn't about imagination, but it is getting out of the data points of your brain. You only have data points that you learn from your 3D world. And so as you move up in these vibrations, you will begin to have new signature vibrational data points in your circuitry of your 5D mind. And then you'll start to remember those vibrations. So if you go to the lake again, now try to remember the vibrations of being on this expansive craft and just hover there for a little bit. It will give you practice in making these new circuitries that can hold the remembrance, because you have nothing in your brain that will hold any of the remembrance. I know you travel at night. Of course I know that, because we travel a lot together. But I understand that it's hard. So you have to say, okay, I know this to be true. Go to that vibration. Use that as the elevator to continue to move up in your dream time. So much happens now with humans in dream time because your consciousness now is wide open. And so in dream time, you know, all the 3D ego stuff is sleepy, and so much more happens. But you want to pay attention to so much of what is happening now. But I do believe that when you were little, things did happen that will come along, that you will start to feel a signature vibration. You know, those things like deja vu, where do they come from? It's one of those vibrational feelings. I've been here before. Really what that is I've encountered this same vibrational conscious experience some other time. And that's when you start weaving the vibrational world of the fifth dimension.
That is so beautiful. And thank you for the encouragement to travel with you. And I'm going to use that elevator that you mentioned. And I will see you tonight.
Awesome. Well, you know, as David has this after party, we will have an after party for you.
Yes, an after party. I love it. And I love you so much, ZaZar.
Love you, Sabine.
Miela.
Miela.
Joanna, did I say that correctly as well?
Yes, Johanna.
Okay.
Hi, ZaZar. Nice
Hello.
to see you again.
Nice to see you so much.
I have just been in this like blissful state all day. I woke up like you were just talking about what it's like in the dream state. I woke up and I've just been, nothing has bothered me. I've just like, my mind has been really clear. And I just feel like a lot of the troubles that I've had over the last few weeks have just disappeared. It's the weirdest feeling, like, oh yeah, that's there, but it's not worrying me. And my question to you is, I threw my back out a couple weeks ago. I'm a teacher, been waiting for summer to come, and I've been kind of bedridden for a couple weeks. I'm thinking, really? So my question is, when does the roller coaster stop? Because I'm high as a kite, and then you're kidding me, I can't move, and I've been waiting for summer breaks. So just been a lot of highs and lows. And how do I get to a point where I can kind of stabilize this sort of blissful feeling that I'm having? I woke up this way, and I'm wondering if you might have had something to do with the energy, knowing I was going to see you today. But I've just been kind of, my mind just feels sort of blissful right now.
You know, when we make a connection, there is a love tab. And that love tab is like a vitamin when we come close again. This is, you can have with all humans. When you have this love fast and you feel so safe with loving, it forms a love tab. And when you know you're going to see them, it's like dropping it in water to feel the fizzies. So I want to tell you, listen, how do you know that you haven't been in bed for two weeks in order to have today be birthed? How do you see? Here's the thing about this weaving. And you know, what you ask is so important, because really what you're asking is, when is the world going to be all 5D? When
Yes.
are we going to stop the weaving? Some of the weaving is necessary because every time you go down, there's a new thing that is happening with you that you need more than you realize, but you bring more light into the darker weavings. And each time you go down less, even though it may not feel that. That is part of ascension process, that the weaving is very important. And every time, usually people move back into the 3D, there is a part of them that can't tolerate it as before because they have been living higher. And that higher living almost creates a resonance that says no to the next weave. And so you don't stay there too long. But when your body is in this and you are laying in bed for 2 weeks and you are waiting for the summer, here's what I want to say to you, Johanna. You may have been nesting to have a day like today. Today you were in the fifth dimension. Today your mind was quiet. Today you felt joy. You felt no burdens. That is not an easy place to reach as a human being. So I want to say to you, bow sacred to today. Say, I've got this now. I've got this signal. Because every time you experience a day like today, it begins to broadcast a signal, bringing your consciousness back to that awareness that this place you were exists. And every time you come back, you build its foundation. So it's more of a fabric, and it's a fabric that becomes more and more part of you until the 3D world begins to drop out in totality, and your new fabric is the 5D frequencies. And that's what is happening to the human race. I could ask you the same question. When do you think the humans are finally going to get steady with this higher plane? And that is, of course, up to you. But I want you to redefine what's happened in the last 2 weeks, because my feeling is, as much as you looked forward to summer, Johanna, you are really progressing in this work. And as much as you look forward to the summer and feel like the back going out was interrupting that looking forward, there is a part of your higher self looking even more forward to the day like today. And so you want to pack away that signature, put a code to it, put a number to it, try to return to it as much as you can. The more you return to it, the less time you'll spend in the weeds. So maybe your body was in cahoots with your higher self to have you rest from the whole teaching school year, to dump out the debris of that. And perhaps because your body rested, it is why today felt like today.
Beautiful. That makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad I can make perfect sense.
Thank you, ZaZar.
Thank you, Johanna.
All right, Billy.
Hi, ZaZar.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's such a pleasure to be part of this. Thank you for having us.
Oh, yes. What is your name again?
Billy?
Billy. Let me feel that for a minute. Billy.
I give you unlimited access to my Akashic records and all my energies and
oh, I feel it already.
Yes.
Very right.
Thank you. So I have my question is regarding. I know this can sound a bit shallow, but one of the biggest challenges in my life has been my weight. It's been a huge impediment to me really coming into my power. Basically, I don't want to be seen. I've studied hypnosis, and I want to be a hypnotherapist working with people for past life regressions and extraterrestrial contactees. And I want to really move into that holistic health realm. And I've been a massage therapist for 12 years, but I don't want to be seen or advertise myself because I'm so self-conscious about the extra like 30 pounds that I've struggled my whole life with. And I've lost weight before in a very unhealthy way through, traveling through third world countries and getting diseases and, other methods. But and the extra weight just kind of like, I feel like it energetically holds me down and also blocks me, just makes me just not, holds me back from so much. Again, as superficial as that might sound. Do you see any? I've struggled with like, should I be vegan? Should I be lectin free? Should I only eat white meat or fish or chicken? I think it's the masculine principle that I think I have a problem with connecting with. I think I have a problem connecting with the willpower, the discipline I've had before in the past. But again, I got that from a very unhealthy place. I broke up with an ex-boyfriend and he was really skinny. So I was like, I'm going to show him how skinny I can be just to prove that I can. And that's not a very healthy way, and it didn't last long term. So I'm wondering if you see, what can I do to connect with, I figure it's the masculine principle because I'm well connected to the feminine principle. But I figure it's a trouble I have. I've had past life regressions and hypnosis a couple times for this, and nothing seems to really stick long term that I can follow. I can find the discipline that I need. And I've heard from somebody on one channel, she said where she's from, the Pleiades or something, they didn't have tasty foods, they didn't have delicious foods. So sometimes extraterrestrials would incarnate here and they're like, oh, we didn't have chocolate or these delicious things here. So you kind of overdo it. And I feel like I've overdone it. And how do I pull back into a more disciplined physical routine to lose the excess weight, to make myself feel more energized and be willing to be seen by the public?
So here's what I'm going to tell you, Billy. I don't think it's about your weight. I think your weight is a human thing. You have learned that spurs this not wanting to be seen. Now, hear me out. I think your light is so bright. I think where you have come from before this life, you had such a high quotient of light, Billy. And I think this light that you want to bring to earth to be in the healing modalities has been what you have blocked. And I think there's a part of you that is reticent about allowing the world to see your light. And I think that turned into, oh, I don't want to be seen in my body. So your body took over and did you a favor. But you have so much light and it feels like it is blocked. And if you really allow the magnificence of you, and this is where you are reticent, and it all got channeled into your body, that was an easy place for you to decide, I don't want to be seen. But you know what, Billy? It is really that your light is so bright that it scared you to have it in the human world. When you first came into this human world, you learned very quickly that all of who you were had to be hidden, because you were trying to learn how to survive in this human world, which is not easy. And so you begin to hide your light, and you also didn't know quite what to do with your magnificence. There weren't a lot of teachers for you to teach you this when you were young about how to utilize your gifts of the healing light. And so you put it on pause. I think you got scared of it. I think you got scared of having it be seen so magnificent. I think your ego didn't know what to do. And so you did these whole schemes with your body. And boy, have you been through that roller coaster. And eating less, doing all these weird things in order to do it. But it didn't work because it's not about your body. As long as you're going to lose weight because it's about your body, then as soon as your body loses weight, what are you up against? You're up against this, saying to yourself, I'm ready to be seen. And you're not ready to be seen. So you will gain the weight again to say, I don't want to be seen. You can lose weight, but it won't work until you are dealing with this deeper soul seed, until you accept who you really are, the magnificent light you came into this earth with, and aren't afraid anymore to put that out into the world to be seen. And when you are ready to do that, your body will simply move into its rightful place because you are no longer worried about being seen. This is big what I am telling you, Billy. How are you receiving this?
This resonates with me. I feel it really does. I've kind of always been nervous that if I led the path that I feel drawn to, that I would, in my mind, I thought that I would have to give up so much. I would never have to give up meat, alcohol, smoking pot. I would have to give up a lot of my friends. I would have to be such a strict, disciplined type person and sort of lose connection with my humanity or with people that I felt so close with. So I've always had that sort of that fear holding me back, that I don't, I guess, want to give up. In my head, I told myself that I would have to give up so much in order to really follow this path.
Let me tell you something. I want everybody to listen to this. This is very important. This is how the old matrix paradigm gets you to keep your light at bay by saying, oh, you want to be this grand light? Well, you're going to have to give up everything that gives you pleasure. This is not true. You think this is about discipline. This is not true. This is about this deep question. Can you be freed up, Billy, to be this magnificent light, to be these gifts, and allow that movement of your light to be seen, to allow the gifts to come out, and allow that vibration of you to determine everything else, instead of you bringing in these old ideas from the paradigm that says you won't have this, you won't have this, you won't have this. Well, who's going to be on their path if they have to give up everything? You don't have to give up everything, but what will happen is this higher vibrational you will be in perfect alignment to decide what in your life brings you more light and what doesn't. And you will be surprised. You can still have cookies. You can still have things, but it's not giving up everything. That is a way to keep the human light consciousness veiled. It is a freedom that will happen, not a giving up, a freedom of finally you seeing the truth of who you are and allowing the world to see it. Your body will totally go with this and be in its perfection. So I want to tell you, I don't think this is about discipline. I think your divine feminine that you are in touch with, let this bring out the light in you. Let it birth this magnificent you, Billy. It is a beautiful thing for a male to be so in touch with their divine feminine. Don't look at that as, oh, you're not balanced with the divine masculine. The divine masculine will show up when you decide with your sovereignty and courage, you are going to be what you are meant to be here on earth and in that light. And you will have both those divine feminine and masculine show up to guide you. And it will be really fun. It's not going to be deprived. That is an old myth that keeps humans down. Are you with me?
I am with you. This is resonating within me, deep within me. Thank you so much, ZaZar. This was lovely. This was such a gift. Thank you.
It was good to meet you, Billy.
It's fantastic to meet you.
Thank you, Billy.
Next, we have Pascal.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me well.
Yes, I can hear you, Pascal.
Okay, great. This is such an intense joy to have the chance to be in your presence, but because everyone is there, this merged energy, I can feel my heart is like bump with your intense activity and motivation. It's like nothing is impossible right now. So I feel so great. So I will use that energy to ask my question. So it's a little bit of curiosity and knowledge because you are six-dimensional being. You will the perfect person to respond that. So people like Vivian, they are from higher dimension, but as a ET, they walk on Earth using an holographic body. Others are walking, still ETs, but also walking on Earth. So what is the motivation when you are a being from higher dimension to come back to the 3D world? What is the gain? What is the expectation there?
Well, it is like this. What is the motivation in a beautiful human who sees someone lying in the street and picks them up? What is the motivation in a beautiful human who sees a bird struggling and holds them in their hand to give them light and healing? It is such an opportunity, Pascal, to want to be part of an ascension paradigm. And it is also that fuel that when ETs come to be in the human realm, and believe me, it is not easy for them, but to come and be part of the light turning on, especially on Earth, because Earth is a tipping point for the galaxy. You might have ETs who want to come into this life because they want to see their own planet move into this tipping point. You might have ETs who have star family here on Earth who have come incarnated as humans but have lost their way. There are many, many reasons, but the most important reason is as you reach down into the lower dimensions to bring your light, to bring that species to Source Divine, why I can't think of anything absolutely more spectacular than having the knowing that you are scooping up a lost species and helping them see the light, be the light, and be co-creators of the light. It is a spectacular time. It is like if you see a child, and a child has no fun, has no affect, has no joy, has nothing. And the first time you begin to see them light up with the light of their own soul smile and laugh, there is nothing like it. For you know, in that moment, they have met their higher self in glee. And so anytime you are gathered with anybody that begins to have that life spark, and maybe it's because you have created with them an opening to their own magnificence, then you are part of a higher unity station than you can even imagine. And for some, it is also part of their ascension to go on to the fifth or sixth dimension themselves. It is part of their own service. So there are a myriad of reasons for ETs to come and be part of this. And many humans would say, well, they need to think twice because it's a mess down here. But they come to bring the mess into the light. And in that moment, they become more like themselves.
As I understand it, when as human we ascend to higher dimension, then maybe our motivation will be to be helpful to other beings with lower dimension, and the cycle repeat.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Mila.
Mila.
Thank you, Pascal.
Elenita?
Hi, thank you. Hi, ZaZar.
Hi, Elenita. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
I wanted to ask you, you talk about being in the now.
Yes.
And I find that when I'm in the now, it happens a lot when I'm working on my art. And I find that when that happens, like 5 hours can go by, but it feels like 15 minutes. So can you talk more about that? Like what exactly is happening? Because I feel like, like 30 seconds have gone by and it's like, I'm amazed on how much time has gone by.
So in the now, you experience a time-space warp. Because in the now, time starts to dissolve or is felt differently. And so many of you might have that experience of being in art is so beautiful, Elenito. So when you are in art, you are in the slipstream of your now creativity. And that creativity has no time attached to it while you're in it. So you can find yourself in it according to time, 5 hours, but feel like you were there for a very short time. You're doing time jumps. And this is how ascension also happens as you move up in vibration to begin to understand how to live in the now. That's when you can do a timeline jump to your next highest parallel life. But that is a whole different subject. But you are experiencing time-space warps, or it may be many of you are maybe taking a walk and are so caught in the moment you don't realize you walked 5 miles. That's a space warp. So you are all of a sudden moving through space through the now energies, and you are in the now corridor. In the now corridor, time space simply dissolves. Does that explain it?
Yeah, no, thank you. That was amazing. That makes perfect sense.
And Elenita, because of your art, you are in one of your highest states of vibration when you get lost in being a co-creator in the universe. When you are doing your art, you are a co-creator with divine source, and you are in that slipstream, and there's no time space that can be around you in that place. It is a slipstream of now that is so sweet, absent of time and space.
Because I find that when I'm in that space, I can hear my guides much, much better.
Yeah.
And the art is so much better when that happens.
Elenita, your mind isn't clogged. Humans don't realize. And because you are an artist, you have learned to unclog your mind. It's a great thing to teach people, because when your mind is clogged, your channels to your guides, everything is cut off. And it's like you're wearing a steel hat. When your mind is clear, that is when your energetics begin to move up through your chakras, out your crown chakra, and says to the universe, I'm here, I'm home. And when your mind gets so cluttered, there's a no vacancy sign on top of your head. No one can make it through. But your creative, everyone, if every human took time to realize a creative gift, and every human has them, in the midst of that creative moment, so many channels are open.
And I guess, like, for me, the best time to work is like in the middle of the night, and so is it better in the middle of the night?
The reason it is better for you, because what you are getting at is, in the middle of the night, human activity slows down. So there's less, just like electromagnetic radiation slows down because people are off their phones, off their electronics, but human thought activity is slowing down so much that you aren't bombarded. You can't believe, most of you are so used to the bombardment of human waves, whether they come from a distraught heart or a busy mind or mad mind or an angry heart. These waves these are frequencies that are felt by you all the time. Because you are an artist, you need to have those less present for you to open vertically. And so at night, it makes so much sense that this was when you would find you could do your art.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mila.
Mila.
You are muted, David.
Sorry, the tech got the better of me there for a second. There you go. And we're back.
I have a question.
Yes.
The camera is going upside down. Okay.
Don't worry, I'll get you there in just a second.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So
there you are.
Your son.
It's really lovely to be here on the call with you, and it's been really fun to listen to all these questions and answers. I'm new to yours and Marylin's work, and so I'm so excited to be here. And my question is, David, I've heard David sometimes ask guests about powerful practices where guests share some sort of impactful practice or routine or mindset or something that can improve our daily lives. And so I was wondering if you have some sort of daily practice that you could share with me that would be impactful in helping me bring my light, as you have mentioned, to humanity.
Well, isn't that a beautiful, beautiful question? First of all, the pausing is so important. Having time during the day, preferably in the morning, where you can pause for the stillness of the mind. And everybody has their own ways to bring stillness to the mind. But I take it you might have a meditation practice?
I do, yes.
So you already have a head start. You also have a head start because you seem to understand nature. I know I bring this up again, but every day to be in nature of some kind, because nature will already stimulate this alignment process of ascension because it's ahead of you. And it will know the minute you walk in it, it will start aligning its frequencies, whether it's the wind that kisses your cheek or the trees that you hear the sound or the birds or whatever. But everything in nature will start aligning you. So I always say to humans, one of the biggest things you can do is be in nature. The other thing is what I call the cosmic diet. And this is, of course, eating lighter foods, eating foods that are locally grown around you, because that is resonating with where your energy is. So your cosmic diet in terms of your body is crucial. It's not about diets out there and which one fits and all of that. It's more the diet of your own consciousness, knowing absolutely what foods feed you at different times. Different foods will feed you at different times. So you can't just say, I'm on a diet of this or no protein in meats or vegetarian, vegan, all your different diets. It's allowing yourself to move towards food in a frequency vibrational relationship. Then the diet of your heart. What do you do every day to make sure that the heart receives higher vibrations? The high heart receives food rather than the low heart. Things you might do for the low heart is watch too much news, read books that have tragedies in it, hear too much tragedies. I said to Marylin, you cannot hear tragedies anymore because you are building your higher quotient and you are too empathic. I say to empaths, if you are too empathic, you're always lining up with the suffering of the world. And people say, but shouldn't we know about it? And I say, how do you live on earth and don't know about it? It's everywhere. But this is not what you align to. And people feel guilty. What do you feed your heart that is of the higher vibrational, emotional feeling field? What do you feed your mind every day? What do you concentrate every day? How much are you in the traffic of 3D frequencies, trying to eliminate as many of those 3D frequencies? How are you sovereign? How much in a day do you do that you don't want to be doing? How sovereign do you say that I am sovereign enough to be courageous enough to say no to so many things in my life that aren't of this higher vibration? That sovereignty is one of the most crucial practices you can have, to say, I will bring back my sovereignty. And as females, Katie, so many females have lost their sovereignty. And to bring this back, you are the ones bringing in the divine feminine. What practices every day do you do to bring in the divine feminine, to say I am sovereign and courageous, to have a voice of the high love? This is what comes through every single day. And then you can do breath work. And one of the breath works that I suggest is you breathe out 5 quick breaths. And in that you say, I'm breathing out the debris of the day before. And then you do that 5 times. Breathe in and breathe out. 5 quick breaths with the consciousness that you are breathing out any dense emotion, any dense thoughts, any dense anything. And then you breathe in the diamond light 5 quick times in the next set. So you breathe out and you breathe in the diamond light. This is a practice of breathing. And then in the book that I wrote, there are these chants that are amazing chants. And I will suggest to you, it's Omni Ma, which means I bow to the sacredness of my own magnificence. Omni Za, I bow to the sacredness of you and the community. Omni Ra, I bow to the sacredness of all that is. And Omni Ah, I bow to the sacred bliss of it all. So it Omni Ma, Omni Za, Omni Ra, Omni Ah, Omni Ma, Omni Za, Omni Ra, Omni Ah. And so this chant is very powerful in bringing you back to the lighted way of the fifth dimension and ascension. So those are a few suggestions that I say. Remember your sovereignty. Remember your cosmic diet. What are you feeding the heart, mind, body, and soul that is of a cosmic higher vibration? Make sure you are in nature. Find yourself some breath work. Make sure you sit on your cushion, pausing all activity in your mind and any heart or emotion in your heart to bring your frequency up. Do breath work, do some chanting, and for goodness sakes, find some fun in the higher light.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Well, it looks like that we have answered all of the questions, ZaZar. Thank you so much.
Good. Yes. It's so good to be with you, David and Katie. You are really this couple that is showing the world that as a beautiful couple, the love you share, the commonality of freedom, of being able to travel the world, you don't realize that as you go to each place, as you go to Europe, as you go to Asia, as you come back to the States, as you do all this, you indeed are spreading the ascension vibration that humans are coming in to a new dawn, and you are the evidence. So I want to thank you.
Thank you for that acknowledgement, ZaZar. That's beautiful. And we're doing our best to bring the light.
Clearly. Well, it's been great to be with you. I say to you, so be it, so it is, and it shall be. And I leave you with Mila.
Mila.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Ooh, doggy! I told him it was going to be a barn burner.
No. That was woo.
Yeah.
I am so hot.
That's fun.
You know, when you finished in San Rafael, one of the things that I noticed is, and I think you even spoke to this a little bit, that when you first started channeling, that it kind of wrung you out a little bit. But when you were done in San Rafael, and that was barn burner too, you were glowing. You were floating around the room afterwards.
And I will float for a while here. I'm going to go out on our deck and look up at the sky. But you know, at one point after about 2 years of channeling, I said to ZaZar, you need to bring in some cosmic vitamins because this is, you know, the energy is intense. And, you know, ever since then, it's changed. And I feel like he brings in the Z vitamins, whatever they are, but it's been helpful. And raising my own vibration is a key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And this show has been spectacular. It's been all that I hoped and more. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call and staying long and showing up early and bringing the light and holding it down. So much love to all of you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.